On September 2nd, 2015, this video will forever change the way that we view finance gurus today.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
With the release and eventual explosion in viewership with this video, this paved the way for new finance influencers to talk about how much money they make, how they manage their money, and selling their audience a dream. A dream of being financially free, having multiple supercars and big properties, and having high status amongst your peers. With this form of content rising, we saw it take a huge leap during the pandemic time when everyone was working at home, and no longer were the days where you needed to commute to work and work in a corporate office, when now you can work from the comfort of your own home. Now fast forward to 2024, and it is nearly impossible to not run into some type of video or advertisement talking about how to make more money, side hustles, different business models, and things of that nature. And while you might look at the demographic and see it is full of 17 to 24-year-olds thinking they're actually making progress in this and, cultivating real results, that is far from the truth. In reality, these finance gurus are fooling an entire generation. The first problem that comes from this type of content is chasing a fake reality. Now look, truth be told, you can achieve the lifestyle that they're displaying. You can have the multiple cars, the houses, and all the party life, the bachelor lifestyle. You can have all of that. You can genuinely achieve it. However, is that what you actually want? In some ways, I actually agree with the whole overall message of bettering yourself, and of course, in this case, getting your money up. But it's about what you want to do with that money. It's one thing for them to help you with the money, but it's another thing to put your own input now, your own spin on things, and realize, okay, what do I actually want from this? Do I want to utilize this money as a tool so I can, use it to propel my business up? Or maybe you want to use this money to live out a lifestyle like a ranch house and wife and kids and whatnot. And truth be told, that's not even a bad lifestyle to live, but because this content is so synonymous with like the bachelor life and supercars and messing with a lot of women, it's kind of funny how it's looked down upon in a sense to actually want a simple life, like have a wife and kids and, just live out in a ranch house. And because, the audience is now getting younger and younger for these people consuming the content, it's almost like any other form of media, whether it's music videos or even YouTubers, right? Where like they see something and they want to, replicate it. So the worst part of it all is that they spend years of their life, and I mean years, grinding away on work that they don't even, for one, find meaningful, and two, chasing a lifestyle that they don't even truly want. All along, you might have knew that, yeah, I want the money, but I want to live this certain lifestyle. But because now you're chasing this fake lifestyle, are you genuinely making progress? What are you working for at the end of the day? Because at the end of the day, when you get to that point, what are you going to do? You're just going to put your happiness in another thing. You're going to look for another car, another house, hitting another, milestone in terms of your monthly income to fill the void inside, knowing that all along you just wanted love. All right, you didn't even really want to start your own business. You just wanted love. But because now you feel like, women don't like you and that the only way to receive love is through a paycheck and, living out this materialistic lifestyle, now you're just honestly chasing something that you don't even truly desire. And this is one of those things that can be gut-wrenching to even, digest in the beginning. Typically, when we see a lot of these younger people, telling them that this isn't the lifestyle that they, necessarily don't want to live or they should reconsider it, it's always, bombarded with so much like hatred and force and like instantly like, no, like I want to live this lifestyle, boom, 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 right? And it's kind of like one of those things where you can slowly see them come to their senses. And, especially if you're young and whatnot, I think that this can be, easily recoverable, especially if you're like a teenager, early 20s. If you end up making a lot of money and then you're living out this lifestyle, okay, you can recover and maybe move back into your parents and look to, live a more optimized lifestyle like that suits you. But the older you get, the more and more responsibilities you have. And now you essentially have to live up to this certain lifestyle. You don't even want this certain lifestyle, but because you're making this much money and you're spending this much money on that lifestyle, you're kind of trapped. And now we're not even taking into account maybe, other, sorts of responsibilities as well, just as you grow up and whatnot. So this is truthfully one of those things where, like, if you are young and you're, already, like, if you're watching this, section of the video and your mind is like, no, 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 I highly recommend that you just take a step back and just think about it, right? Just truthfully think about it, because it's better to revert now when you're young than to be living this lifestyle and then trying to switch when you're older. Another issue that I see in this form of content is the narrative. All right. Now, it's important to realize, as pretty much a business owner or anything, crafting a narrative and your personal brand, your image is the most important part, because at the end of the day, what are people going to, know you for? It's going to be this particular thing. And, through different tactics and whatnot, whether it's, learning body language or, upgrading your communication skills, maybe even through video editing and whatnot, and showing what, you truly want to show on the internet, you can craft this narrative and this story around you. And for younger people, and even people like myself as well, at one point fell into this narrative thinking that this is how someone operates 100% of the day. When you watch maybe a 1 minute to even like a 10-minute video, right, on maybe a day in a life, or just, a guru particularly giving advice, right, you might think by the way, their tone and the way they're saying it, and, they're just always on go mode, they're focused, and, they live by this routine day by day, they don't miss a beat, nothing. And while sure, that is a possibility, they actually don't, and, kudos to them. But I think that, it's when you have the video like that, it's kind of vague in a sense, because it can leave the person feeling like, okay, this is how I need to operate on a 24/7 basis. I need to always feel on go mode, right? I can never relax, so to speak. And you kind of live up to the standard of, you live up to the 10-minute version of the guru, and you try to do that 24 hours of the day. It's kind of like a weird example, but it's kind of like NBA, for example. Like, how like you have one of those like players who are like their spark energy plugs off the bench, like they play maybe 20 minutes, but they're like high energy, but the longer you play them, the more they run out of energy and the least effective they are. It's kind of like that when it comes to this, where you're going to end up getting diminishing results in your work, because you're not going to be utilizing your own skill set, your own critical thinking and judgment, and instead you're going to be crafting your life around someone else. It's kind of, like I said, similar to the last point. Not only are you going to create a lifestyle that you don't want, but your habits as well, your work habits, and just how you manage day-to-day life and how you operate, it's going to be pretty much based on a whole different other human being that doesn't even know you. Now, it's important to realize that, yes, while work is definitely an important aspect of life, it is not the whole entire thing. And this is something that honestly I knew of, but I just recently experienced for the first time. And I got to say that this, once again, isn't necessarily highlighted that much when it comes to these financial gurus. We see a lot of videos now of, young guys, making a lot of money. And we see, these clips of, them not necessarily living out their entire lifestyle or their life, their childhood and whatnot. And while I am, all for getting money, especially at a young age, right? We're in a new age now of getting money. That's a whole different discussion. But however, I think there's, kind of a balance, so to speak. I don't more so mean balance in like your typical 50-50, because I don't even believe in balance in that sense. But I do think that, you should schedule some downtime. You should schedule a little bit of time and kind of live out your childhood, especially if you're younger in your teen years, high school, middle school and whatnot. And to think that, all of these habits and whatnot are completely bad for you and that they're going to slow you down and whatnot is completely, it's a line of thinking that I once had, and it kind of made my quality of life worse, because I kind of expected myself to work as a robot. I never necessarily put that much importance on different aspects of my life, and I'm kind of paying the price for it now, and it sucks that, this isn't highlighted enough, because once again, like the last point I made, when you typically watch a lot of these videos, they have so much conviction when they speak. It's almost as if like the way they speak, like non-verbally, you can almost hear like a, like they don't even do anything, right? They don't do anything outside of work. That's kind of the vibe you get like non-verbally, just through, just through their body language and whatnot. But that isn't the case. There's value in hanging out with friends. There's value in doing, maintaining your health, working out, eating good, and just doing all these productive, just wholesome, good like habits for you. There's value in that. And that should be, just as important as well, because even if you want to look at things through the business lens and whatnot, those things can help you with business as well. It's, even though like it might not seem like it, because, we kind of equate business to equal sitting on computer and working. There's other ways life can bring that juice back, bring new ideas, right? Especially if you're like, like doing like YouTube and whatnot, right? Like typically when it comes to YouTubers, right, it's almost this thing as you want to lock yourself in the room and just, edit, record videos, grind all day, right? But especially if you're making a certain type of content, there comes a point where you actually need to live life. You need to experience things so you know what to talk about. Man, I think we all relate to this, right? We watch a video on how to stop procrastinating as we're procrastinating. We watch videos on self-help and whatnot. And while I am a big component on self-help and I love watching that form of content, I do realize that specifically finance gurus and, pretty much this whole space, watching too much of this content is bad for you, because at the end of the day, right, what is the purpose of this whole content? It's to help you, right? It's to pretty much help you along on your journey so you can continue doing the work. What's the purpose of watching all the content but you're not even working on your business, right? You're not making money and whatnot. You're not even applying the things you're learning. You're more so just using it as a coping mechanism. And that right there is the worst form of consumption, I feel like, because you're pretending to be productive. You're saying, I'm gonna watch this video, but in reality, you're just going to go to the next video and that's it. You're not even going to, go work on your business. You're not going to apply it. The way that self-help content should be digested, specifically finance, obviously for this video as well, should be in the form of, okay, I'm working on my business. Dang, I'm running into this problem. Okay, let me look up this problem. Okay, cool. I watched this. Oh, okay. There's some value here. I'm going to subscribe, for sure, but I'm not going to religiously be on here, right? I'm going to spend a lot of my time still working on my business, but in my free time, in my downtime and whatnot, when I'm not working on the business and, I just want to relax and whatnot, or you want to, educate yourself as well, keep learning, of course. Okay, cool. That's when you can watch the educational content, but using it as a coping mechanism is terrible. However, with all that being said, how do you actually get your work done in this case? See, this whole time I've been pretty much talking about the problems with finance gurus, and as a person trying to build a business as well, to anyone out there that's aspiring to do the same thing as well, I want to outline the tips that I use that personally help me navigate through all of this content and to pretty much allow myself to focus on not only building a business, but also how I'm managing to use this as a tool to move forward and to intentionally consume this content, intentionally consume self-help and, finances and productivity. So with all that being said, let's get into that in the next chapter. The first step in this is picking the right business model. What a lot of people do, especially when they first start watching this form of content, is they immediately pick up on a business model. They work on it for maybe a few weeks, maybe even a few months, right? And then they switch. They keep switching business models over and over and over again. And then maybe they do YouTube, maybe they do Instagram, maybe they do this and that, drop shipping, clothing brand, right? Like they pick all these different models, but they never stick to it. So instead of, switching from business model to business model, what I did, and that helped me really, clearly define what I want to do, is answer these set of questions. The first question is, who do I want to help? See, I think that when you have a business that is aligned with your purpose, your soul's mission, I 100% believe, while yes, the journey is going to be tough, it's going to be well worth it. That's what's really going to push you forward. That's something that's during the days that you do not want to open up the computer, the day that you do not want to go to this business meeting. It's those moments, is that little, you feel me, that mission right there that's really going to help you push forward. And, especially in the beginning when you're not going to be making money, when you're going to be losing out on money, when you might have to, go through drastic life changes. You might have to sleep in your friend's house, you get kicked out, whatever. It's going to be that mission, that purpose that's going to hold itself, and that's going to be the core foundation. So truthfully, ask yourself, what is your purpose? Now, I know that can be, just right off the rip, asking that can be, kind of tough to figure out on the spot. But questions that definitely helped me out was, what makes me mad, right? What makes me sad? What makes me mad? What brings up my emotions? And I noticed for me, it's because, one thing that I love is helping people, of course. And it sucks to see people who, are stuck or just stuck in life in a position, whether it's, they're, I don't know, like 50 years old, stuck working at like a minimum wage job, just slaving away, or, help with this, they need help with this particular problem, whatnot, right? Like, I just love helping people. I hate seeing people stuck. That's something that genuinely like fuels me inside. So if you can find those moments, whatever it is, just something that makes you just like mad and just makes you rile up, is that right there. All right. That right there is who you want to help. And once you find the people that you want to help, now you can slowly start to build your business around it. Okay, cool. You want to help people. Let's say you want to help people. That's your main purpose. How can you help people? What do you like? What do you enjoy? Okay, you can do it through clothing, right? Make clothing that helps people. Find purpose in that. You can make YouTube videos, right? You can make like self-help, videos and whatnot. You can do just whatever business model that you see fit. Having that purpose behind it is what's really going to help. And that's how I truthfully believe that you can pick a right business model and something that you can not only stick to, but stick to for like the long haul. Something that, it doesn't even matter if the market moves, you're going to be really good at, because you're genuinely going to love it and you're going to want to put time, energy, and effort into it. Once you've picked your business model, the next thing you want to do is identify your core actions. All right, now look, when you start a business, let's say it's a YouTube channel, for example, there is so many things you can do, right? The profile picture, the banner, your bio, creating the socials and creating the shorts for the content and whatnot, right? Like there's so many different things to do. It's important to first outline exactly what are the most important steps. There's this concept called the 80-20 rule, which is basically focusing on 20% of the actions. They're going to get you 80% of the results. All right, these are the needle mover type of actions. For example, let's say your business model is YouTube, right? The most important things that you want to do every single day when it comes to your YouTube channel is scripting a video, recording, and editing, right? Like those are pretty much the main concepts that you want to do, right? And when you first start off and all that, you're pretty much going to be a little bit overwhelmed with it, but over time you can start to learn how to batch content, which is basically like writing multiple scripts in one day, recording one day, multiple times in one day, editing in one day, like doing it like that to move it faster. But don't even worry about that if you're just starting off. Just focus on identifying first exactly what are the core things. Once you figure out what your core actions are, you write down your business model, and then underneath you write down like, okay, what are the most important things? Once you write it down, realize that everything else, right? Replying to comments, making your banner, profile picture, creating, a short for this video and whatnot, everything else is irrelevant. All right, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean, don't do it whatsoever. Absolutely not. These are, the most, and, these are definitely the little things that you can do for sure, but don't do them first thing in the morning. All right, don't do it first thing in the morning. And that is the next thing I want to talk about, is your biological prime time. All right, so whenever your biological prime time is the time where you're going to be the most active, the most energy, the most you're going to get a lot of work done. So for example, if your biological prime time is in the morning time, you want to make sure that you do the really hard tasks. So for example, it's like recording a video. You want to do that in the morning time. You don't want to do it at 3 p.m. when you're going to be feeling sluggish. You don't want to do it, late at night when you're going to be feeling tired. You want to just get it out of the way. And then when it comes to the other tasks, right? So when it comes to changing your profile picture, your banner, okay, cool. Then you can do it in your downtime. That's when you can do it at 9 p.m., at 3 p.m., right? Like it's just a dead hour. Then for sure, do that. Most definitely. But doing this concept right here, I promise you, all right, I just implemented this really this year in 2024. And I think if you just look at my channel from 2024 and seeing how consistent I've been and how, we've been growing, thank you guys so much for that as well. It has definitely paid off. All right. And I want to make sure that I really, really, really highlight this. The last tip that I have that definitely helped me out is making sure that I diversify my learning, right? So for example, yes, social media and just the internet as a whole is a gold mine of content. While yes, obviously there's going to be a whole section of fake scamming and whatnot, and for sure that definitely is the real thing for sure. However, while I do love learning from the internet and watching YouTube videos and whatnot, I also do think that books are valuable. All right. It's something that people don't even really want to read anymore. If they do want to pick up a book, it's looked at as more so an aesthetic as opposed to actually reading it. But I believe that if you read financial books and whatnot, that can provide honestly more value than some of these YouTube videos. You know, if you're watching maybe like 10 YouTube videos a day on finances, whatnot, I would recommend replacing at least maybe, if not half, then at least maybe like 80% of the content with a book, and then diversify it. Okay, even though this book, you know, was created way back then, right, maybe 10, 20 years ago, okay, you can get a little bit of the foundation, but obviously with the internet and the digital age we're in now, you can implement that, right? You can kind of mix it. You can kind of mix it together and kind of create that blueprint. Obviously, as well, you want to look at blueprints as well, like look at other people as well, learn from other people, not just other people in terms of the numbers, but maybe even their mannerisms, how they act. I would still say though, be careful of that as well, because, you know, as I just talked about in the last chapter, of course, how that can be kind of deceiving, but just in general, right? Just seeing a collection of, you know, how people move, surrounding yourself, most importantly, around people who are on the path to success or who are already successful in what you're trying to do, and they can give you game and whatnot. That's far more valuable than just sitting around watching finance videos all day long, wishing you had your own business, wishing you can retire your parents, wishing you can live out this life, when in reality, all you're being is a entrepreneur. You're not actually building anything, and you're getting trapped. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I sincerely appreciate it. If you made it to the end, let me know in the comment section below what your opinion is on just finance gurus in general. And for the people who did stick around for chapter 2 as well, what is your business model? I want to know genuinely, what's your business model? What's something that you've been wanting to work on? How are you going to work on it? What are your core actions? You can also write it down if you want, or you can comment it down below as well to have kind of like an accountability. You know, if there's anyone else that is, you know, has similar interests as you, you know, feel free to comment to them. You feel me? We're trying to build a community here, and you know, if we can build a community of just young, successful people and whatnot, I think that'd be really dope. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next upload. Peace.